this just differs between your classes. Biology, of course, you need to learn how to write all of the terminology down. You need to learn how to write specific chemicals and cancers and stuff like that. If you are in history, if you don't really know how to spell something, you know, circle it, do whatever you can, look it up later. But don't harpoon on it so that you are not paying attention in class. And of course, rewrite your notes after class. Not only is it good repetition and good memory, but you can also add notes from somebody that you met in class, and you guys can discuss what you discussed in class and see if you can answer each other's questions. That will help you also study. How you know there's an important idea? They'll pause before or after an idea. Now, of course, they'll use repetition to emphasize a point, and they'll say such words as, write this down, be sure to know, make note of, this will be on the test, stuff like that. You have to look for specific words. Like I said, it might take about a month for you to realize and understand how a professor talks. And of course, if they write ideas on the board, or if they bold their text in the PowerPoint, italicize it, something like that, underline it, make sure that you also will bold it, italicize, underline, highlight in your notes. Recording lectures and printouts. This gets a little tricky. You always have to ask a professor if you can record their lecture. It's very, very important. Some professors don't mind, some do. But make sure that you always ask their permission. Another thing with recording lectures, are you really going to put that time aside to listen to the lecture, stop, play, record, stop, pause, record? Are you really going to have that time? Be honest with yourself, okay? That's a lot of time to do that. If you went to a 15-minute lecture, how long will it take for you to pause and write it all down? Okay? Think about it. Printouts help, like a PowerPoint printout. They really do help, but don't rely on them. Take your own notes, and always refer back to the syllabus and the class website if the class has a website. Lecture notes. Go back to listen. Understand what that means. Are your questions answered? If not, stay to the end. Talk to your professor, things like that. Also, your personal notes, like examples, stories, abbreviation, keywords. Whenever I get an example in class and my professor's telling me, this is an example of da-da-da-da, well, I use my own examples, my own stories, my own personal anecdotes, so it just clicks for me better. I understand it. There are two main lecture note formats that I'll be showing you just in a minute, or you can, from the Cornell method or the outline, you can make a combination of the two. This is the Cornell method. On the sides, of course, you can see that it says Q's, sorry. On that side, you write down the main ideas, the questions that connect to the points, diagrams, things like that. The middle are the notes. Obviously, you write all your notes down. You can do that in outline form, which you already possibly know, and I'll show you that later. And on the bottom, that's all for the summary. These websites here on the bottom are formatted already, so if you just want to print out those Cornell methods, they will already print out for you, and you can just write on it. This is an outline method. It's pretty detailed, obviously, but you understand the idea. It has the title on the top, the different points that were hit, like if there was slide 1, slide 2, things like that. Real short, simple handwriting. Approx weekly at the bottom, not approximately a week, you know, things like that. Cut it down. Understand exactly how you're going to do it. And again, you can use a combination of the Cornell method and the outline. How to organize your notes. Make sure you write on the top where it's big and you can see it, what class it is, the date, the page number. If it's, you know, if you write more than 3 pages of notes, make sure you put page 1, 2, and 3. It's also said that if you are going to write more than 2 pages of notes, only use the front side rather than flipping to the back. So when you're studying, if you go to the library, you just put it all side by side. Real simple, easy for you to look at rather than having to go back and forth, especially if you wrote a sentence and you ended on the back. It's just real simple. Yes, we all want to save trees, so use the recycled paper. Also, in your notes, be sure to write near the Q's section if you're going to use the Cornell method, or on the side, the page number that corresponds in your textbook, if you're using a textbook. Okay, so if the definition is on a certain page and you can't write it all down, just put the word that the definition is and put the page number that it's on in your textbook. That'll help you a lot. Use symbols and abbreviations. Rather than the word and, write the symbol and, at, things like that. Real simple stuff. Use abbreviations that you understand. Okay? And don't make too many abbreviations that you don't understand your notes later on, because that also becomes a problem. If you need to, write a key down. Use colors. I love colors. I love them so much. They are very, very helpful. They stimulate your brain. My boss and I were talking earlier. He uses colors all the time. If you have a specific class, like somebody give me a class. Human society. Economics, human society. Let's go with economics. All the things that you don't understand in economics that are just hard, you don't understand the concept too much, write them down in a red marker or a red pen, so you know that you need to focus on those to understand, this is what I don't understand. Gotta focus on this. The stuff that you do understand, write it in green. All of the equations, write them in blue. Something like that. Understand it and keep those colors just for the economics class. For your human resources, or what did you say? Society? Human societies, use different colors or use the same colors. Don't mix and match. Make sure you have a key for everything. Red is bad, green is good, blue, stuff like that. Don't get crazy with highlighters. That's another thing. Highlighters, yeah, they'll show you what to do, but if you start highlighting everything, then your whole page is highlighted and there's no point to it. Okay? So use colors and things like that. Edit, rewrite your notes before, after class so they're fresh in your mind. Okay? Add to your notes. Talk to your friend, meet somebody in class so you understand where your strengths and differences are and you guys can help each other. That's the best way to learn. Take notes, not dictation. Obviously, I've been talking a lot and you've only written down a few things. So don't write everything the professor says and be afraid you're going to lose it. Write what you think is important by hearing and listening to your professor. Skip lines between points. It's also very important. Again, use recycled paper. But it's not only a visual break in your mind, in their section by section, but you can fill it in later. And you can understand, oh, if I missed something there, you can write it in between, rather than writing it on the side and the whole sides are all completely full and it looks really unorganized. Make sure you keep an organized paper because the mind sees organized and it will read it that way rather than read side to side. Make sure, again, you understand your notes. They're written in your shorthand, your abbreviation, your color pattern. Write it so you understand rather than just completely forgetting everything one day and then trying to go back to it, because sometimes it just won't make sense.
One of the things I've noticed is students will get way too caught up in what the professor is saying, and even start write down jokes. Those corny jokes that professors like to say all the time. I've seen people, yes, we gotta write that down. Pick and choose what you're gonna write. Your hand gets tired relatively quickly. Don't waste it on writing corny jokes down. The other thing that worked for me when I was I used loose leaf paper and a binder, because if you use a spiral, it's gonna run out. And you're gonna have a whole bunch of spirals, and you're gonna end up with a mess, basically. If you use a loose leaf paper and follow Lena's advice to write just on the front of the page, it really saved my life with studying, because on the back sometimes I was able to write notes that might have referred to something else, and it just kept things much neater and nicer. And when I ran out of paper, I was able to just add more, and so it was very convenient. And yeah, you have to lug around a binder, a 3-ring binder. But it worked for me, and I did pretty well. A lot of professors now are putting their PowerPoints, making them available to you. What you might be able to do is print them out in outline form, where they have the notes on the side. And so when you're following along with a professor, you might be able to take notes next to that PowerPoint, or even write on the slide itself. And that might be a way to help you with the visual learning. The only downside of that is don't get dependent on those slides, because sometimes you'll think, oh, I won't go to class today because I can just get them off the website. It's important to go to class.